Hey y'all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club, and we have been taking a little deviation from John Gottman's What Makes Love Last. We've been covering the stress-reducing conversation out of his 7 principles for making marriage work. Super excited to be here with you today. If you haven't had a chance, please do check out our website. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. There you can take our free life balance questionnaire and send it to us via email. If you like, wow, sorry, I'm tripping over my words. If you like, you can also just send us an email to set up your free consult. We also have a little store, so you can buy a free consult at a $0 price, or just text us, send us an email, and we will talk. So thank you. And today we're going to continue. So we've talked about how to have that stress reducing conversation at the end of the day. There's lots of tips here. And actually, so this book is amazing. Like you can see, I have it super bookmarked, but we're just going to cover, so this is like a sneak peek. So we're just going to cover the stress reducing conversation, and then switch back to what makes love last, which is what we've been covering. You can tell I'm very passionate about all this stuff, and it's like, now that I'm getting to the end of this, I really just want to keep going on the 7 principles of making marriage work stuff. But I'm going to stick to the formula only because I know a lot of you are really itching to get back to Gibson's works. And I promised that as soon as we finished What Makes Love Last, that we would move back to Lindsay Gibson's second book, which is where she really goes into the details of, okay, so now I know that I'm surrounded by emotionally immature people. How do I really deal with it? So in her first book, she talks high level about what you can do. And the second book is a lot more formula driven, like, you know, when this happens, then you do that. So I'm super excited to cover that with you as well. But anyway, without further ado, we're talking about the stress-reducing conversation. This links back to the 4 principles of attunement, or how to attune, which John covers in high detail in What Makes Love Last. He will go in further chapters into like a little bit more details of how to have the State of the Union conversation and all of that good stuff. But I felt like this deviation was necessary to really help us understand how to better support our partners in having that stress-reducing conversation, which is the whole part, the art of intimate conversation and how to talk to each other. Okay, so we talked about taking turns, showing genuine interest, which means putting your devices down, not giving unsolicited advice, communicating your understanding and empathizing, taking your partner's side no matter what, even if they're wrong, in that moment, right? Later you can express it. Expressing a we against others attitude and being careful not to turn on each other. Showing affection and validating emotions. So today we're just going to cover a few examples here. Here are 2 brief examples of a stress-reducing conversation to give you an idea of what to do and what not to do. Don't. Hank. I had another terrible meeting with Ethel today. She keeps challenging my knowledge, and she's been going to the boss telling him that she doubts my competence. I hate her. Wanda. I think this is another example of you flying off the handle and overreacting. That's a criticism. I've seen her be very constructive and reasonable. Maybe you were just not being sensitive to her concerns. So she first criticizes, and second, she sides with the enemy. Hank, that woman is out to get me. Wanda, that's your paranoid streak coming out. You've got to try and control that. Criticizing. Hank, oh, forget it. So you can see here that even though Wanda may be right, she's not helping him feel like he can confide in her. She's not expressing empathy. It may be that this other person is, she is very constructive and reasonable. Maybe everything that she's saying is correct, but nothing that Wanda's doing here is helping Hank feel supported, and she's not showing that she's on Hank's side. So here's the do. That was the don't, and here's the do. Do. Hank, I had another terrible meeting with Ethel today. She keeps challenging my knowledge, and she's been going to the boss telling him that she doubts my competence. I hate her. Wanda, I can't believe that woman. She's the meanest fighter and a terrible gossip. That's an us against others attitude. What did you say? Showing genuine interest. Hank. I told her she's just out to get me and that she's not going to succeed. Wanda. She can make anyone become paranoid. I'm sorry she's putting you through this. That's expressing affection. I'd like to get even with her. It's an attitude of us against others, or taking your partner's side. Hank. So would I, but I think it'd be better to just forget it. Just ignore her. Wanda. Her boss, your boss, knows what she's like. Everyone does. Hank. That's true. He doesn't like that she goes around saying everyone is incompetent but her. Wanda. That's bound to backfire. Hank. I hope so, or she'll give me an ulcer. Below are some sample scenarios to help you practice being supportive during your spouse's whining session. Which, by the way, don't ever call it a whining session to your spouse, because that, of course, will make them feel like they can't talk to you. So, 1. Your wife's brother yelled at her for not yet repaying money he loaned her 2 months ago. Your wife is feeling outraged and hurt by her brother's attitude. She does owe him money. You say, Oh, sorry. Sorry. It's been a while since I read this. Okay, so this is an example, and you're supposed to practice what we've taught you. So taking turns, showing genuine interest, not giving unsolicited advice, communicating your understanding, taking your partner's side, expressing a we against others attitude, showing affection, and validating emotions. So in these examples, it's going to give you a prompt, and then you should practice what you would say if this was your partner. So if you have a journal, grab your journal and write it down. It's going to feel silly, you're going to feel clunky, but do it anyway. Okay, so I did 1, even though I futzed through it. Number 2. Your husband got a speeding ticket on his way home. It was a speed trap, he yells. Everyone was going 80 miles per hour. Why do I have to be the one who gets pulled over? Okay, so how would you respond there? Maybe put your natural response and then go back and put the response you think Gottman would want you to put, right? Maybe do it that way. 3. Your wife was late getting to a big job interview. Now she's worried she won't get the job. I can't believe how stupid I was, she moans. What do you say? 4. Your husband asked his boss for a raise and was turned down. He got angry and stormed out of his boss's office. Now he's worried that his boss will hold that against him. And now we have some sample answers. So I'm going to do 1 and then the sample answer. Hopefully you took the time to write down your answers. If you haven't, pause the video, don't continue. That's cheating. Go back, do your own, and then listen to Gottman's answers. Okay, 1. Your wife's brother yelled at her for not yet repaying money he loaned her 2 months ago. Your wife is feeling outraged and hurt by her brother's attitude. She does owe him money. Sample answers. 1. I'm sorry he made you feel really hurt and angry. Notice the focus is on how she feels, not that her action was right or wrong. Because in this case, she's wrong and she should have repaid the money, but he can still be empathetic towards how she feels. 2. Your husband got a speeding ticket on his way home. It was a speed trap, he yells. Everyone was going 80 miles per hour. Why do I have to be the one who gets pulled over? Sample answer. How outrageous. That's so unfair. Not, well, you know you have a problem with speeding. Maybe you shouldn't have been speeding. Which I can tell you that I tend to give those types of answers. So, 3. Your wife was late getting to a big job interview. Now she's worried she won't get the job. I can't believe how stupid I was, she moans. Example 3. You weren't stupid. That could happen to anybody. 4. Your husband asked his boss for a raise and was turned down. He got angry and stormed out of his boss's office. Now he's worried that his boss will hold this against him. 4. The sample answer to 4. I understand how you feel. So notice, if you really want to tell them that they were wrong, focus on how they feel. Focus on validating their feelings. Even if their actions were wrong, their feelings are not. So you can empathize with their feelings, and then later, once the moment has passed, you can talk about the actions. But they need to feel that you're on their side. One last note. No one knows you better than your spouse. Sometimes advice may be just what you're looking for. The best strategy is to talk about what you like from the other when you're feeling stressed. If your spouse is ranting about the promotion he didn't get, you can say something like, "You're obviously really upset about this. How can I help you? Do you need me to just listen, or do you want me to help you brainstorm what to do next?" Now, this sounds really dorky, but I've actually talked with people who do this, and it's very helpful because sometimes you just want to vent. Sometimes you are looking for advice and you don't necessarily ask, but you are looking for it. And sometimes you just want to brainstorm ideas. So this is all, it's really good. And if you practice asking those questions, just like we talked about, maybe practicing on strangers, you'll come off as being so sophisticated, if nothing else, and they will be impressed. If you have this sort of conversation every day, it can't help but benefit your marriage or your partnership. You'll come away with the conviction that your partner is on your side, and that's one of the foundations of a long-lasting friendship. So that there was the stress-reducing conversation. I really am excited for whenever I get the chance to cover this book with you guys. Ultimately, your likes, your comments, your subscriptions will tell me which way to go. I know for a fact that I think part of it is just that the market's kind of flooded on romance type stuff. Everyone thinks they know the answer to romance. I feel like John Gottman really does have the answers though, because he's done a lot of research. He's not telling you what worked in his marriage. And actually, if he had continued doing what he thought was working in his marriages, he would be giving the worst advice ever, because he's on his third marriage. And he's only been successful by looking at thousands of couples in the Love Lab and actually studying what does work and what doesn't work, which is why I've put so much stock into the advice that he gives. So thank you for being on this journey here with us. I look forward to talking with you tomorrow. Very excited to talk with you guys. And please do check out our website. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. And tomorrow we will be going back to John Gottman's What Makes Love Last. We're going to start covering turning toward each other. So how do you, in those moments where you have conflict, instead of turning away, turn toward. And I do highly recommend, if you haven't Googled the Gottman Institute, please do so. Sign up for their Marriage Minute. It's good for any long-term relationship, marriage or not. And at the bottom of that email, they have the link to their podcast, Small Things Often. I'll just tell you, I don't get paid for this stuff. I believe in it, which is why I'm talking about it. And also, I'd love to help you. If you'd love to chat with us, check out our website, send us an email. We're here for you, all right? Penny and I well, Penny's accepting new clients, and I'm on a case-by-case basis. So, all right, thank you. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.